Okay, welcome back. Well, we'll turn our attention to Rivers. We'll come back to Kano as we progress. Well, we've got Mr. Frank Owell here with us. He is a former Attorney General of Rivers State from 1997 up until 1999. He's here with us in the studios, and we'll also get across to Mr. Felix Oguche, who is also a legal practitioner. Mr. Owell, good morning. Thank you for coming on.
Good morning.
Well, we do know, everyone knows this back and forth going on in Rivers. But yesterday, many were looking to see what was going to happen with the courts, but that hasn't happened yet. We're still waiting to see what decision will come through from the courts. How does that affect anything, though, from your perspective?
Well, from my perspective, I didn't ever envisage that the Court of Appeal will give judgment yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Considering the plethora of cases arising from this Rivers crisis before them and all their submissions. I'm not part of the team of the lawyers. I have been doing my own assignment, federal government assignment. In fact, like I told you, I just left Maiduguri last night. And I arrived here only to be told that I have to appear here this morning.
Due to calls?
Yes, it had not affected me in any way. And I think that it has not affected any reasonable person from Rivers State in any way. And that is our expectation, is that everything will end in court. And people make noise. People say a lot of things out of emotions, out of primordial and tribal sentiments, but we don't look at matters that way. No matter what everybody says, no matter what everybody shouts about, the law will be law at the end.
When you say we, who are you referring to as we don't look at matters that way?
What I'm talking about, we don't look at matters that way. First of all, I'm a lawyer. Secondly, I'm on the side of the Rivers State House of Assembly, who is almost at war with the governor of the state. I believe that the Rivers State House of Assembly is illegitimate. It's legitimate, and that is assembly that Rivers State people voted for.
But there are two groups.
Yes, as it appears, there are two groups, but like I said, I do not want to go into the matter of the cases that are in court because they are sub judice. I don't discuss matters that are in court unless they have finalized everything before you begin to dissect and look at the judgment that have been given. Otherwise, I would have said that the legitimate House of Assembly is the one led by Martin Samegule, and that the Constitution of Nigeria did not in any way anticipate that one person or two or three will represent a state. And Rivers State in particular, out of 32 legislators, that 3 will represent me, even though the 3 may come from one constituency or the other, leaving 27 behind. I think that is abnormal. That is an aberration.
Okay, I don't know if Mr. Oguche can hear us at the moment. Mr. Oguche, can you hear us? Good morning.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so without...
I can hear you very loud and clear.
Thank you. Without delving into the prayers before the courts and looking at, considering the build-up to, well, maybe it didn't happen anyway. We're still waiting to see what the decisions will be. Well, from your perspective, in terms of how all of this seems to be playing out, which Rivers State, the two groups, and then trying to lay claim to being the legitimate group that will lead the House. The fact that that decision hasn't come up yet, do you think it has doused tension? Because, I mean, there are several people who thought different groups have just kept on consistently violating court orders. How do you see all of this playing out?
Well, it has not been an easy game here in Rivers State since last year when this controversy was aroused by a political actor. It hasn't been easy. I can tell you that the population is bruised. They are not just in terms of their personalities, but in terms of their group interests, because they are still more of political debacle than the actual developmental politics, so to speak. The tension here has been very high since then, and we are very lucky that it has not degenerated to the level that anybody would think that the state of emergency would be very, very proper. The courts have not been playing out very well, I must confess, in terms of all the orders they've been making left, right, and center, and trying to undo themselves to these political gladiators. But that is not the issue. The issue actually is how we can entrench proper democratic norms and systems within the River State governance paradigm to ensure that some of these things that are done in controversies and all these imbroglio, it's a little rather low. As far as I understand, I think the issues, particularly regarding the decisions of the court, the orders that are turning, have rather exacerbated the problem than done anything in the direction of assuaging or maybe reducing the level of that tension.
Okay.
I don't know the specific thing they asked me on whether it has helped to douse the tension. I want to get the direct specific on that aspect of it.
Okay, we'll come back to you on that one. But Mr. Wall, do you ever think, I know you'll be optimistic about this because you're a lawyer, but several people also think that from the way these things are playing out, it just might be what they describe as a political solution that will sort it out. That they're not sure if the courts can actually resolve these matters. The complex whole now.
Yes, thank you very much, Chamberlain. First of all, we are talking about a political solution now, and we are thinking that there may be a probability of court not solving the problem at last, and that political solution could be the answer. This River State case is known by everybody, and I'm sure so many people have appeared before you, and so many people have spoken. And you yourself, you would have seen all that have been happening from time. The president of this nation, the current president, Tinubu, saw all this from the beginning and had to call all of us, I was there, for a truce, including the governor. And we reached an 8-point or 9-point agenda. And everybody agreed and signed, those that were signatories to that truce. And we got back to Port Harcourt. On our own side, I think when I'm talking about our side now, you will now understand. We stopped everything that was put in motion in compliance with that agreement. But the governor complied with one or two, and left everything and began to do the opposite. And that is what has given rise to what we are seeing today. So if the president's political solution could not solve the problem at that time, I do not know what other political solution that will solve this problem in Rivers State. Except that the court of law, I believe that this matter will eventually get to the Supreme Court, and that is the ultimate. And when they make pronouncement, I think everybody will follow. There is nothing anybody can do in the circumstance, because we have tried political solution. Elders have waded into this matter several times. I am among the elders in the state, and we have waded into this matter a number of times. The problem was not solved before we proceeded to the president for political solution. And then some people advise the governor that is unconstitutional, that is this and that. Law is made for man and not man for the law. The president saw all that will happen and perhaps what is happening today and tried to reach that truth between us. But I don't think that the governor was willing to abide by that agreement, as all of you will see. So political solution, I don't know, unless there will be a miracle. I don't know which political solution will be much more than the political solution that the president was involved in.
I'm uncertain of, what precisely you refer to as the issues happening today. If you're referring to the local government situation, some people will say, well, it was natural that the tenure of the local government chairman will end, and whatever will happen afterwards, was going to be up to the governor, perhaps the state independent electoral commission, which we understand has now set in motion a process to, conduct local government elections. In your own estimation, do you think that the current state of affairs, with the police now taking over the local government councils and perhaps preventing the caretaker chairman whom have been sworn in, pending whatever it is that the appeal court decides, do you think that is out of what ordinarily should happen?
Yeah, I think, like I've always said, I think with due respect to the governor, I think he's the cause of this current situation, the situation in which we are now. The problem that is happening in the state now, arising from this caretaker committee, appointment of caretaker committee, and you can see that the caretaker committee members who were appointed by the governor the other day are not operating from the headquarters of each local government where they ought to operate from. He said they should operate from wherever.
To avoid a
to
avoid a confrontation.
If the governor wanted or didn't want this, wanted to avert this, he should have conducted local government election before now. The tenure of any public officer does not expire and you leave the office before the conduct of election to replace another person. So he had all the freedom to ask for election, and we would have finished with the election by now. So why did he wait up to this time? So that's the problem. And that's where we are.
For whatever reason he waited, I think, the people of Rivers will still continue to ask the governor of the state, why he waited. It will be up to him to be accountable to the people of the state on why he waited. But what people know is that whenever it is your tenure expires, you have to leave office. There should be no question of, my tenure has expired, but there's nobody to, take over from me. I think I was already settled when the governor already told, the administrative heads to take over, pending when, the caretaker committees were going to be sworn in. Why do you think that there was such a desperation to also extend the tenure of the local government chairman in contravention to what, according to the people in the state, in contravention of the Constitution, even though, the State Assembly had made a law to support that?
Yeah, the scenario is this. The governor was not prepared, with all due respect to him, to conduct the local government election. And then the members of the House of Assembly anticipated that he may be delaying to conduct election so that he will do exactly what he's doing now by appointing caretaker committee, and which is not known by law. And as a result of which, there is a law of 2024 by the same House of Assembly to elongate the period of the people who are there now, pending when the election will be held. And that is the scenario. That is the position.
Isn't that two wrongs trying to make it right?
No. There is nothing. If the House of Assembly has anticipated problem in order to save the state from such problem, and they have made a law because the governor has not been able to arrange for conduct of elections of local government council, they, in their wisdom, must do what they have done.
Mr. Oguchi, let me come to you. I do not know if you agree with Mr. Owo here about what he has said. You know, he says that the House of Assembly, will I say preempted, you know, that there was going to be no conduct of local government elections at the time, and so enacted a law. This is what do you think that this situation could have been prevented if only the governor had conducted local government elections?
Thank you very much for the question. I do not only disagree on that one, I disagree totally in every aspect of what you have said so far regarding the intervention of the president, which I think is not constitutional. I think that issue is settled. Regarding the disposition of the governor in meeting with the pact, which I think the governor did very well. Because initially when they had that division, bifurcation of the house, the court and all that the other house, led by the DA, is the one that's authentic. I also think that the president did not intervene in the manner it should, as the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and the fact it entered and the fact that the pressures are coming from that fact rather worsen the situation than even address it is also a measure in that direction. For the local government, I believe that there cannot be any elongation. I think we have agreed on that, even for presidential seats, presidential positions across the world. In Nkurunziza and the one in Cote d'Ivoire, they have to amend the constitution for any elongation to be done. And it's not even an elongation automatically that the president has to contest by the election. It's just the elongation to ensure that he contests and qualifies to contest. So for the local government system, which council is also elected, I think it's just the same thing. What I think is that there should have been an election before now. I agree with that one totally and completely. But why would the governor conduct an election? He's not the electoral commissioner. The state electoral commissioner is there. But in the face of all these controversies that have been going on and all those drowning everybody, will the local government election be said to be possible? Can it be said to maybe the indices are there, or the parameters are there to ensure that elections are free, fair, and credible under that situation, under that environment and circumstance we find ourselves? So everybody was waiting for these nerves to calm on these situations to reduce to a very tolerable level before the elections can be conducted.
Do you think
immediately the tenure is ended, that there's an extension? And
Mr. Oguchi, can I, if I may come in here, just 2 days ago, you know, policemen were killed in River State, and even a young man as well. 1 or 2 people lost their lives in the brouhaha over the takeover of local government, of the local government headquarters in different parts of the state. Do you think that the situation is now sufficiently calm? Because we now understand that the State Electoral Commission is now coming out to say they are about to conduct, or they would like to conduct elections, local government elections. Would you say that the situation is now sufficiently calm to conduct these elections?
Yes, I would say it's calm, relatively. The circumstances leading to the death of the student that I mentioned, the police officer and the other man, was self-conceived circumstance. One was trying to play do the other. One was trying to be overzealous because he's the security detail of a particular official of government. That's a known case. The situation in Port Harcourt is calm enough, and that's why some of us raise eyebrows when somebody is making a case for the imposition of a state of emergency. We have to go back to the books and look at what the state of emergency entails. Not only under our constitution, but under the traditions of democracy. And we begin to find it laughable that somebody will raise that kind of issue at this critical time. The Rivers people are quite settled on all things. I'm not speaking for them, but I can say that from the perspective of all the interactions we've had, even as a broadcast station, it is very, very clear that the Rivers people are very ready to move ahead, to go beyond this, to take this one as one of the things that have passed. They should want to forget about it and move on, except for these issues that keep rising up and down, frivolities here and there over what God does with all that. And it makes the whole thing a little clumsy. As far as I'm concerned, the position of the governor on caretaker committee is not quite agreeable. It doesn't conform with the law at all. And he made his earlier broadcast, which we all embrace, that the administrative heads of the local governments will take over. I think that will work, that will be okay, that will be proper. You can even align it to the doctrine of necessity if you may. But I think the action was properly done. And the Electoral Commission.
Well, I'm hoping that we'll be able to speak to Mr. Oguche one more time before we sign it off on this segment. But Mr. Owo, let me quickly come to you, reflecting on some of the issues that you raised earlier. Would you consider the issue in Rivers State right now, particularly this one that has to do with the expiry of the tenure of local government chairmen and the decision of the current governor to appoint local caretaker committee chairman, now caretaker council chairman? Now, don't forget that it is something that's happened historically. Yesterday, we reviewed about 4 or 5 years in his entire 8-year tenure, at least, where the previous administration appointed caretaker committees to 20, 22, even 23 local government councils at any time, and there were no elections before those caretaker committee chairmen were appointed. So, do you see this as a political logjam or a legal conundrum, seeing that there is some antecedents?
Like somebody said here, two wrongs cannot make a right. We will not be looking at what has happened previously. We have to look at the yearnings of Nigerians now. What is happening now is that Nigerians want local government to be independent, and that is in the process. The independency of local government is in the process at the National Assembly. And when that happens, the individual local government council will be independent. They will not be tied to the whims and caprices of the 8th governor. To now, in the heat of this, to now begin to appoint, for the governor to begin to appoint caretaker committee members at this period, the people will reject it. And that is why when people say about, talk about Rivers people, anybody that comes will say Rivers people. Who are the Rivers people? I'm a Rivers man. There are other people who are Rivers people. It's not everybody, it's not anybody that you find in the street. It's the totality of Rivers people. Rivers people are there, and if we want to show people, maybe a day will come where each divide will show their supporters. So whenever anybody comes, the Rivers people are yearning to do this, Rivers people are yearning to do this. But I'm here to say confidently, and I'm telling you that Rivers people do not desire to have caretaker committee members in any local government council this period.
But don't also forget,
their position is that election must be conducted so that the legitimate chairmen and councillors will be in the office to serve the people of Rivers State.
But then there are also those who will tell you, Mr. Owo, there's also those who will tell you that the governor himself is a Rivers person. The local government caretaker committee chairman that have been appointed and accepted to be appointed are Rivers people as well. So perhaps it would now depend on which set of Rivers people you're talking about, wouldn't it?
That is exactly. Somebody started by saying, not you. My colleague on the other side said Rivers people. Rivers people. Each time it talks of Rivers people. Who are the Rivers people? There is a divide. And when the other people are talking about, it's not whoever is in the street and talking that is a Rivers man in the first place. The place is a cosmopolitan place. And then anybody can talk as a Rivers man. Doesn't mean that who does not shout is not a Rivers person. So, but I am telling you that Rivers people do not desire at this time that there should be caretaker committee members in any local government council.
All right.
Considering what is happening in the nation now.
Okay.
Because the nation is yearning for the independence of local government councils.
All right, gentlemen, we're winding down now. Mr. Oguche, briefly, how do you see this ending, though? Mr. Oguche, how do you see this ending?
Yes, the audio here has been very low, but I will tell you that there are different dimensions of rural people. There are indigenous and there are residents. And we can feel the pulse of the people. In all the scenario of debacle that has been going on, not much has been factored into the interest of the people. It's just what we're experiencing now is the fact of political gladiators, bedfellows, whose relationship has gone sour. Now it is thrown back at the people because they are the ones that feel the pulse. They feel the brunt of whatever is going on. When two elephants fight, the grass suffers. I would say that concerning the issue of the caretaker committee, I would say that was the wrong move by the government. I think I've said that earlier. And I think that by fixing the dates for elections and making preparations for those, for the polls, I think the government had gone ahead to move on to ensure that he meant well. I think we should all support him at this stage so that elections be conducted. And the conduct of such elections require also the support of the generality of Nigerians as a whole. Some of us, all we are interested in is to ensure that democratic principles are well made intact and that there's no room for maneuver or subtraction by political actors who want to have benefit.
All right, Mr. Oguche, we'll have to anchor at that point. I'm afraid we're out of time. Mr. Felix Oguche is a legal practitioner. We've also had Mr. Frank Owo, who is a former Attorney General for Rivers State from 1999 up until 1997 up until 1999, currently with NEDC. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Chamberlain. Thank you, man.